We are no longer discussing the slowdown of EV growth. The market is officially regressing. According to the most recent data, sales of EVs fell 15% in the first quarter of 2024 compared to sales in the last quarter of 2023, and year-over-year growth is at a record low of 2.6%. Naturally, everyone is wondering, what's the cause of all of this? Here are 9 things that EV manufacturers would prefer you to remain unaware of. 19 early adopters have ended the EV market's spectacular growth over the past few years, with year-over-year changes frequently surpassing 90%. Suddenly, the market stalled, and one of the main causes is that the early adopter phase is over. The market's impressive growth was primarily driven by EV enthusiasts and wealthy households who were willing to buy an EV regardless of its cost or actual needs. The middle class is expected to lead the charge toward electrification. Things are not going as smoothly as they could because this social group is motivated by different factors when purchasing a new vehicle, which we'll discuss in a moment. The only issue is that the source of wealthy households isn't endless, not even in America these days. Purchasers would prefer to continue with gas-powered cars or hybrids because they are more affordable, more practical, and ultimately simpler to live with than electric vehicles. EVs, which are still not a logical choice for several reasons. EVs are not what consumers desire. Over the past several years, there has been a tremendous advancement in technology. Although EVs have greatly improved and become more affordable, they are still not good enough to satisfy the needs of typical customers for several reasons. Let's just look at their recent Boston Consulting Group poll that found that the main requirements for those looking to purchase an EV are a 350-mile range, 20-minute charging time, and a price of around $50,000. High prices. As we've already discussed, electric cars are either expensive or underperforming. Yes, you can find a relatively affordable electric car, but that EV would be quite unimpressive when it comes to range, charging speed, or overall quality. The problem is that there's currently only one electric car that meets all 3 requirements, one variant of the Hyundai Ioniq 6. For the rest of the market, they still need to improve in some areas, which indicates that EV technology is still not mature enough to become the primary mode of transportation. However, some sites claim that EVs are still significantly more expensive than their gas-powered equivalents. Even though hybrid cars are significantly more affordable on average and more convenient to use due to their lack of range anxiety and charging anxiety, as well as better overall reliability scores, which we'll also discuss in a moment, the average purchase sum for EVs was between $55,000 and $60,000 in the previous year. Things have improved a little bit, but EVs are still more expensive than gas-powered cars, which cost about $48,000 on average. Remorse among buyers, the phenomenon known as buyer remorse. You know the feeling you get when you buy a TV and a few months later discover that its price has dropped significantly. Most customers would feel they made a mistake, and we usually use the term buyer remorse to explain that feeling. Well, that's exactly what's happening right now in the EV market with the massive discounts various EV makers have been offering lately. Many buyers feel like they overpay for their cars, and potential new customers now hesitate, fearing that their EV will lose a significant portion of its value with each new discount. Technological advancements. Advanced EV technology is booming and developing very quickly under these conditions. Why would someone pay hefty costs for a car that will become old in a few years and not be worth anything? Today's technology will probably become outdated in just a few years. Charging speed will improve and range will increase. Potential owners of electric vehicles would prefer to wait a few more years for the technology to stabilize and begin improving more steadily. Price depreciation. Have you heard of any instances when an all-electric Porsche Taycan lost $100,000 of its value in just 4 years? Electric vehicles lose value quickly. In comparison to gas-powered automobiles, the depreciation rate is far faster. We've previously discussed some of the reasons for the huge discounts, for instance, and the fact that EVs become outdated far more quickly than ordinary cars. In addition, there are high running costs. The used EV market is practically non-existent due to factors like high insurance prices, poor reliability ratings, and costly maintenance. All of these things also contribute to significant depreciation. If you want to speak numbers, gas-powered cars lose about 37% of their value over the same period, and hybrids and pickup trucks hold their value even better. Purchasing an electric car at the moment doesn't seem like a wise investment. Range and charging anxiety. Finally, we've come to range and charging anxiety, some of the most interesting phenomena of the EV industry. Once again, electric cars have improved over the last few years. The market is full of EVs that can make more than 300 miles on a single charge, and while that's a respectable accomplishment, it's still far from gas-powered cars that can, in many cases, make over 600 miles with a single tank. In other words, EVs are great for daily commuting, but not exactly the best solution for long-distance journeys where drivers are forced to make way more frequent and not particularly quick stops. This leads us to the second kind of EV-related anxiety: charging. First of all, the charging network is still far from ideal. Moreover, it's beyond bad in certain parts of America, but even in the most developed states like California, things are far from great. Public stations are often crowded, while chargers turn out to be unreliable with so many records of failed charging attempts. Low reliability scores. Initially, it was thought that electric cars would be far more dependable than gas-powered cars because they have fewer parts, which means fewer things could break down. However, things turned out to be quite the opposite. The most recent Consumer Reports survey, which included over 330,000 vehicles produced between 2000 and 2024, revealed that electric cars cause 80% more problems than gas-powered cars. In other words, even though EVs have fewer parts, they are still quite complex because this is still relatively new technology. Batteries, drivetrains, and all other high-tech components must be flawlessly integrated, and even the slightest error can cause the entire vehicle to stop, as many owners have experienced. A lot of concerns from customers about electric automobiles include software problems and overall poor build quality. Operating expenses. EV makers like to point out low running costs as one of the key advantages of electric cars. For years, we've been hearing about how EVs are less likely to break down and how there is no regular maintenance servicing like oil changes. However, it turns out that EVs are more expensive to run than gas-powered cars. It's not just about the fact that recharging at a public station is anything but cheap. EVs may not require oil changes, but they're significantly heavier, which leads to more frequent tire replacements. Then there's the aforementioned lower reliability rating and the fact that due to the lack of trained professionals, repairs are way more expensive. Last but not least, insurance premiums are way more expensive for EVs for several reasons, one of them being that even a minor collision can lead to repairs so expensive that insurance houses would rather choose to write off such a vehicle. Huge letdowns. Massive electrification, at least in North America, is unimaginable without the electric pickup trucks. These are still the most important segment in this part of the world. And with this short experience with EVs, it's pretty clear that massive electrification in this segment is not going to happen anytime soon. Electric pickup trucks have turned out to be a massive disappointment. Of course, we're talking about work capabilities. First of all, electric pickups feature lower max towing ratings than their IC counterparts, but that's not even close to the biggest issue. The main problem is with the battery and its low resistance to hard exploitation. Just take a look at the recent tests conducted by Motor Trend when testers took an all-electric F-150 Lightning and tried it out with 3 different trailers ranging from 3,000 to 7,200 lbs in weight. It turned out that the max range, which is claimed to be around 280 miles, dropped significantly when towing. Even the lightest trailer drained the battery after just 115 miles. Things were even worse with heavier trailers, as the heaviest one, the 7,200 lb unit, was towed for no more than 90 miles. Hauling tests showed slightly less drastic results, but 1,400 lbs in the cargo bed was enough to reduce the max range by 30%. So it's pretty obvious why we say that electric pickups are not going to take over this segment anytime soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.